So, hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for the latest social season at the BSME. Today, firstly, I'm Deborah Joseph. I'm Editor-in-Chief of Glamour and I'm on the BSME committee. I'm really personally very excited about this chat because it's something that I really feel I want to learn more about. But today we've got the team from Tik Tok, Sophie Silver, who's Head of Communications, and Yaz Howe, who's the editorial lead, to talk us through how to set up on TikTok if you're a brand or if you're an individual, how to grow following, what kind of content to create, why TikTok, and hopefully we'll all leave this with a better understanding of how to join TikTok for our magazine brands or to become TikTok stars ourselves, which I'm sure we're all desperate to become. Okay, so over to them. They will be sharing a presentation for us, and then we'll be doing a Q&A afterwards. So please do put your questions into the chat and I'll make sure to ask them. So over to you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Deborah. Hello, I'm Sophie. I'm really pleased to have Yaz here with me today, who is our resident expert. She looks after all the editorial planning of what goes on in the app, and has taught me how to use TikTok as well personally. So I'm really excited to have brought her today to share her best tips and tricks with you. I'm going to share my screen, and as Deborah says, feel free to ask us any questions. We'll endeavour to answer as much as we want, and we can, and if not, we can always follow up with you. So hold on one second while I just do this. And over to you, Yaz.
Perfect. Thank you, Sophie and Deborah. Yeah, so as Sophie just mentioned, I'm Yaz. So I lead the editorial programming team for the UK. So I work really closely with all of the amazing trends that are created by our community and all of the brands on TikTok, and really work to elevate these in app, celebrating the best brands and the best creators. And I also do a lot of work on bringing the key cultural moments into TikTok. So I'm going to take you through this deck now. Hopefully we'll be able to play the videos. I'm not sure if Sophie's got permission, but if not, it's fine. We can do it without videos. And then I can share some afterwards. So I'm going to share some tips and tricks. And if anyone's got any questions throughout, feel free to pop them in the chat. I can't see the chat while we're talking. So Deborah, or Sophie, if you want to just ask me questions as we go through, that's totally fine as well.
Right.
But yeah, so as you can see here, this is the For You feed on TikTok. So when you open TikTok, the thing that really sets it apart from other entertainment platforms and other social platforms is that you start getting served content straight away. So you don't need to follow anyone. You don't need to choose any videos to watch. The videos are just there for you, ready to consume. So you don't need friends or connections on TikTok to be able to use it, although it does enhance the experience because you can share videos with your friends or with any colleagues to share inspiration on videos that you might think might be good for your brand. But as you scroll through videos, the algorithm will learn the type of content that you like, and it will keep serving you more of that. So for instance, if you love or if you're creating fashion and beauty content and you engage with that content, you'll start seeing more videos within that specific vertical. So you can see here 54% of videos consumed are consumed on the For You feed. So it also means that it's actually really easy for your audience to find you. So they won't necessarily go out looking for, say, glamour, for instance. They'll be consuming videos that fall into those kind of categories, and then they'll start getting served your videos. So it's really good for discovery as well. And no two For You feeds are the same. So it's all completely algorithm based, and it's very personalized to your own preferences. And it's really accurate as well. So that you'll start seeing as you use TikTok that it becomes to know you very well. If we can move on to the next slide, I'll just go through sort of navigating TikTok. Yeah, so I'll do a bit of an app demo at the end of this presentation, but Sophie, I think, could you go back one slide? I think there are two here. Yeah, perfect. So when you open TikTok, the first thing you see, as I just mentioned, is the For You page. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll know that there are lots of sounds that are very synonymous with TikTok. So in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a record symbol. If you tap on that, you can see all of the videos that have been created using that specific sound. So it's a really good way to identify trends because you'll see all of the videos that have been created using that specific audio. You can then shoot from that page as well. The big red button in the middle on the second image is where you'd click the button to start creating content. You'll also see another main page is the Discover feed. So this is where we program all of our editorialized content. So this will be highlighting some of the best trends in TikTok that are coming through the community organically. And it's also where we'll highlight some of the key cultural moments. So at the moment, for instance, you'll see we've got lots of Black History Month educational creative on the Discover page, as well as some of the trending sounds. So it's a real mixture of like what our community are creating. So it really elevates the best of the best on the Discover page.
Can I ask you a quick question? How does somebody get onto the Discover page?
So from the For You feed, you can see on the first image,
I didn't know. I mean, like if someone, if a brand, for example, wants to get their content featured on the Discover page, how do they go about doing that?
So a really good way to do it is to just engage with the trend. So if you go onto the Discover page, you can see like the hashtags that are trending and you can get involved in those. But also from like a branded perspective, the sales team do sell packages for brands to have like a featured hashtag on the Discover page, if that makes sense. But if you're getting involved in the organic trends, your videos will appear under the hashtag, which will give you the opportunity of appearing under the hashtag on the Discover page. And the more views the videos get, the higher up within the hashtags they'll appear. And every piece of content that's posted on TikTok is rewarded views based on the quality of the content. So it doesn't matter whether you've got one follower on your account or whether you've got 1 million followers, but if your content is good, it has the opportunity to go viral. So you could post your first video and get 5 million views if the content is amazing. So yeah, everything is rewarded on its own merit. And then from the shoot page, you can just click the red button, you can hold it down, film videos. I'll show you how to do that when I do a little demo in a minute. And then you've also got the opportunity to add sounds. So you go through to the sounds page and you'll see all of our trending sounds. So anything that is related to a TikTok trend, but we'll also have TikTok charts and then playlists that are specific to different verticals as well. So we'll have a recommended playlist for beauty content and a recommended playlist for sport content. So this is where we have content that like sounds that are particularly relevant to those types of content. Next slide, please.
Sorry, yeah.
That's all right. And then you probably know that TikTok is quite well known for all of our different effects and filters. Some of the most popular ones are green screen. So you can upload your own photos or videos and like superimpose yourself into a different set. So you will have seen lots of different brands using green screen a lot. Like one of my favorites is Ryanair. They use green screen of like lots of different elements of their planes, and they do it all from their head office. So they'll take like a photo of a Ryanair plane and then they'll use green screen to make themselves look like they're in the plane, and they're really authentic. They just like don't take themselves too seriously and their content performs amazingly. I definitely recommend having a look at Ryanair as an account. And then you've got search, so you can search for anything you're interested in, like any users. So you can look for any handles or like any celebrity or publication or creator names that you might be interested in. But you can also search for trends. So if you wanted to search for like a makeup transition, you can search for anything like that as well. And then on your profile, you'll just see all of the content that you've posted. You can also go across to your inbox where you can share videos with like friends and family, and also where you'll see all of your likes and comments come through on your videos. And then finally, we've got the privacy settings where you can either make your profile public or private. If you have teenagers who might be using the app, you can set up family pairing. There's lots of different safety features in place there.
Sorry, can I interrupt you for a second? Just going back to the Ryanair content. What are the ingredients for amazing content for travel, would you say, in their instance?
For travel specifically?
That's one of the questions is asking, yeah.
I think really for every vertical, it's all about just staying authentic to TikTok and to your brand. So we see lots of different types of content performing well, and it's not necessarily specific to the vertical. So Ryanair don't actually do much travel specific content. They just really get involved with what the community are creating. For travel specifically, we tend to see vlog content performing really well. People making or brands making videos about like behind the scenes of like a specific hotel and showing elements of it that you might not see, say, in a magazine or on people's Instagram, showing like this is actually the bathroom of an amazing hotel and this is why I love it. This gave it like a special extra twist. Or people showing like tips and tricks of places to visit. So it's maybe like, here's something that I did in Santorini that you'd only do if you knew a local, and that kind of content. So like behind the scenes content for travel works really well, of things that people might not be able to access from magazines or Instagram or tour guides. So we see that performing really well.
Great, thank you. There's also a question. It says, sorry, how did you get the filters again? Someone missed that. We are going to share this with everybody. All BSME members will have this video sent to you, so don't worry if you miss anything, you will see it afterwards.
Yeah, so from the shoot page for filters, wait, I can actually show you now. Actually, I'll show after when you can see my full screen. But from the shoot page, when you press the big plus in the bottom, there's just a button on the left that says effects, and you'll see hundreds and hundreds of different effects and filters there. But yeah, I can show you. And also what I'll do after, because I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see my phone when I'm going through it, I can screen record an app demo, and then I can send it across with like hitting all of these points and answering these questions, if that's helpful.
Amazing. Yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
No problem. Next slide, please. So here I did have a couple of videos. We can't watch them now, but again, I'll send the deck across with all of the permissions afterwards that will just show you some of the videos. It's just kind of like little examples of some of the trends, but hashtag challenges are a really good way to get involved in creating content for your brand, especially if you don't really know where to start. So they really capitalize on like the audience's natural tendency like to create and share content. So as I kind of mentioned earlier, the hashtags on the Discover page really elevate like the best of the best content that the community is making in our biggest categories like music and beauty. So you'll be able to see the trends on the Discover page, and they encourage users to get involved by like recording themselves and maybe competing in what we'll call like a challenge. So say for instance, if a brand sets up a hashtag challenge, asking people, say I'll use the travel example, to show how they behave as a tourist in their local town, and then it encourages people to create videos that are similar to themselves. So yeah, it's a really good way to start if you're not quite sure what to start posting, because you can see lots of the viral trends and challenges that are on TikTok at any given time. Yeah, next slide, please. TikTok's really famous for trends. So like anything can go viral, from the most obscure trending videos, but you'll also see trends coming into app from pop culture. So for instance, something like Love Island, the community is super creative, and like they'll be watching Love Island and they'll bring like a sound bite from a very specific element of the show into TikTok, and they'll start recreating it and making it into memes. And this is where trends really start to spinball. And trends are often based around audios as well. So Begging was a trend from Manskin, and lots of the music creators started recreating elements of their favorite songs in trends. And I think the best way to discover trends is by just really using TikTok a lot. You'll start to see lots of the same or similar videos in similar formats coming through, and that's when you can really start to spot that something is trending. If we go on to the next slide, there's a bit more info on how to discover trends, I think. Yeah, so to discover trends, I think the best thing to do is to use the Discover page, as we mentioned before, but also just scroll through your For You feed and you'll start to see trends emerge. But we also have a content newsletter that we can send around that highlights some of the upcoming trends that the community are really like leaning into, that will be appearing on the Discover page. And we also have a push notification that can go out to users if you opt into that when you sign up, that we'll give you a list every week of all of the, like, it'll be like a roundup of all of the trends that we've seen from the past week. So we see lots of brands finding this really useful to be able to then create content that is really relevant and engaging to the community at any given time. So I'm just going to quickly go through. Yeah.
So there's a question actually. Does TikTok release an editorial calendar of what themes they'll be focusing on for the Discover page? Is one question.
So we don't. We do have a weekly, just within the weekly newsletter, we will let people know what's happening for the coming week, but we don't go any further than that, just because so much of what we do is based around what the community are creating, and things change so quickly within TikTok. Like, for instance, this week and last week, people have been going crazy for Squid Game, but next week that might be old news. So we never plan too far in advance, because it's all based on what the community are creating and engaging with.
I mean, the creativity around Squid Games is off the charts. I mean, some of the makeup looks are wild. It's incredible. I'm
so excited to see how many people are going to dress up for Halloween with Squid Game inspired costumes, and I can't wait to see what people are going to be doing in TikTok with it.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
And we've had people doing the, the honeycomb challenge. Like, we've seen people actually boiling down sugar, making the honeycomb, and then getting their needles out and trying to really do it themselves from home. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So on best practices, so we'll just say, always shoot in vertical full screen content that's made specifically for TikTok. If you think about when users are scrolling through their feed, I'm sure you've seen this yourselves. If you're hit with a video that's got like a black bezel above and below, it feels quite jarring. It doesn't feel like you're in TikTok anymore. So you want to make sure that your content is like really for TikTok. And to really get those views and to go viral, you need to have people watching the full video. So the first sort of like 1 to 3 seconds need to be really engaging and attention grabbing. We don't want people to leave the video before they get to finish watching it, because that's what really helps with views.
You give an example of what people do to be attention grabbing in the first 3 seconds.
So sometimes people will tease to what's happening in the video. They'll say, this is my daily report on this. So I don't know if you might have seen at the moment, there's a huge trend going on called Bones Day or No Bones Day, which is this guy has got a dog called Noodle, and every day he does a bones or a no bones report where he tries to stand up his little pug. And if the pug doesn't stand up, it's a no bones day, which means everyone's going to have a really bad day. And if it stands up, it's a bones day, so we're all going to have a great day. So at the beginning of every video, he's like, hi, I'm here to do Noodles bones or no bones day report. So everyone kind of knows what they're staying for within the video. And we also see it with like fashion and beauty looks, where sometimes at the beginning of the video, people will have no makeup on. They'll say, I'm about to create this look, or they'll do a transition to show what the video is going to portray throughout the content. So it's just like teasing users to why they're going to want to stay to the end of that video. And then when you go across to someone's profile, you'll see, like, as you scroll through the videos, there's like a little icon that's kind of like a GIF of the video, and you can select that yourself when you're coming to post your content. And I'd say these cover shots are really important for people to then watch more of your content once they arrive on your profile. So you can add text to the cover shots to say, like, for instance, this is a hashtag Squid Game video. You can like have that on your profile. And I say these are really engaging. They make people watch more and more of your videos once they're on your profile. I think an interesting thing to mention here as well is hashtags. We see a lot of both brands and users using hashtags such as For You page, FYP, FYF. These hashtags don't actually do anything. If you think about the way that hashtags work, it's the same as any other platform. And if you're searching for something like For You feed, there are millions and millions and millions of creations under that. So you're not going to be served the most relevant content. So just use really relevant and concise hashtags. We'd say like 3 to 5 max, and then they just help with discoverability. Use trends. I've touched on that quite a few times. And then experimenting, I'd say just be authentic and experiment as much as possible. And don't worry if you post a few videos that get a couple of 100 views, because you're just trying to find out what works for you. And if you just keep experimenting and keep playing around, you'll find what works, and then you'll get videos that get great views.
You can delete, I mean, because is it bad practice to delete the first few that you've done, or would you just leave them?
I wouldn't recommend deleting videos, just because unless you do something and you're like, okay, this I don't like it because it doesn't fit with my brand or whatever, you can delete then. But don't delete if performance is bad, because videos have got like a bit more of a shelf life as well. So once you've posted them, it might be the case that they go back into the For You feed a couple of weeks later, and you might then get more views. So it's definitely not worth deleting things.
I was going to ask that, how quickly, I know on Instagram, it might take 2 days to get the full amount. How does that work on TikTok? If you post a video, how quickly will you get the response?
It's a really good question. It depends. So once you post the video, for like the first hour or so, you won't see many views on it, just because it's kind of like finding its way into the For You feed. And then once it's in the For You feed, it can happen really quickly. But I'd say that to reach the limit of your full viewing potential, I'd say is about 48 hours. But that's not to say that it won't go back into the For You feed again. So for instance, I posted a video around the Euros like a week before the final, and it got like 5,000 views. And then the week of the final, because there was more relevant football content going into the For You feed, and because people were searching for it, my video went back into the For You feed and then ended up getting like 15,000 views within like another 24-hour period, but a week after I posted it. So that's another reason why I wouldn't recommend deleting, because things can come back around.
Someone's asking, can you edit a video after posting it?
You cannot, no. So if you're not 100% happy with your video, I'd recommend saving it into your drafts, and then you can edit drafts and then publish. If you publish something and you want to edit it, I would say it's not very good to delete, edit, and then re-upload, because the algorithm will actually mark a video as a duplicate. So I'd say the best thing to do is just reshoot. So if you're worried that you're maybe going to want to delete, I'd say save your video onto your camera roll before uploading. Otherwise, you will have the TikTok watermark on it as well.
Got you. Okay. Thank you.
Next slide, please. Yeah, so here are just like some tips from my side, just to kind of wrap things up. But we'd say make sure, that people are getting hooked in the first few seconds. Definitely make sure that your videos are well lit and have clear audio. It sounds really obvious, but when you're scrolling through your For You feed, you will notice the more you use TikTok, your attention span becomes a lot shorter. So if you suddenly see a video that's like a bit dull and grainy and you can't really hear very well, people will just scroll past it straight away. So just a basic one. Use in-app editing features so that it looks like you're shooting on TikTok for TikTok. So things like voiceover, TikTok text, green screen, on-screen text. Set the video tone with music or sound. So as I mentioned earlier, trending sound. So clicking on a little record in the bottom corner to find your audio, and then use that in your video. Trends are trends for a reason. People love them, so jump on them for sure. Not every post will fly. So like I mentioned, you might have a post that gets 500 views, but your next might get 5,000, might get 5 million. Don't worry about it, just keep going. And this is something that we always say to creators, brands, public figures. If you were watching your video and you didn't know what your brand was, would you be interested in it? And are you entertained? Think about, you're creating for people who don't necessarily know who you are. So they want to watch the video because they want to watch the video, not because they're necessarily loyal to your brand. So think about how you can win people over. I think that's really important.
How often would you recommend people post, brand and personal?
I'd say consistency is key, but we do say it's all about quantity, not about quality. It's better to post one amazing video a week than 5 rubbish videos. So I think whatever is realistic for you. A tip that I always give people is to film in bulk. So if you sit down and start filming a video, once you've done a couple, you get really quick at it. So film maybe like 5 videos in one go, and then post one a day for a week. So you could set aside like a couple of hours a week to just film your 5 videos for the week, and then post one a day, one every other day, rather than every day thinking, oh, what am I going to make today? So I'd say to weave that into your strategy. And people who have done that definitely say that they see better performance because they are setting aside time to film for TikTok specifically. spending a lot of time in the trends, know what they're doing, and then post like once a day. But I definitely say it's not necessary to post more frequently than that.
So if you were going to post, say, once a week, is it better to do it like every Monday, and is it time specific, or does it not really matter?
So I'd say on a day-to-day basis, days, it doesn't matter. And I wouldn't say you need to post like every 7 days. You could post on a Monday one week and then a Wednesday the next week. Doesn't matter too much. But I would say an optimum time to post is between about like 4 and 7 p.m. That's when we tend to see the best engagement. There's no like specific rule. Obviously, sometimes you could post at 9 o'clock in the morning and go completely viral, but that is where we tend to see the best engagement.
Is that, so for example, if you've got an audience in America and you're in the UK, how does that change?
So again, like that's just our stats from a UK perspective, but I guess just bear in mind where your audience are. Think about who you think is going to be watching the videos, what they're going to be doing. For us, the reason that early evening works best is because people have finished work and they're either commuting or they're like hanging around at home, chilling out, and are just on their phone. So maybe just adjust that to the market where you think that your most engagement is going to be. But I will say, once you've got a business account, it's something that you can set up in the settings. You'll be able to see where your audience are based. So you might think that you have a US audience, but once you look into your analytics, you'll be able to see actually 50% of your audience are in the UK. So then you might want to find like a hybrid time that serves both markets to post.
Great, thanks.
Yes, can I, because you taught me so well how to use TikTok, some of the tips that Yaz gave me were, instead of taking lots of photos, just start taking lots of, 1 to 2 second videos. And so that's been the biggest difference that I have made to my content production on TikTok. Now I just take lots of very short videos, and then I go and upload them all, and it makes it into an amazing video for me, which I then add sounds to, and then I add other things too. So that's if I want to do like lots of different clips. The other thing that I use TikTok for is recording piece to camera quite a bit. And I struggled a lot. I worked on a platform previously, and the way that when I first started working there, I'd never used that platform before, and someone gave me the advice of, okay, think of the content between 2 access points, and like that you take photos of anything that falls in between those 2 access points. So one of my access points was I'm a working mum, and the other access point was I work for this brand. So any photos that fitted in between that, I would post. And how I've applied that to TikTok is that I'm a single working mom, and I work for TikTok, and I take videos that like fit in that kind of, in those categories. So I tend to do a lot more clips around like filming lots more clips around my work stuff, and then the piece to camera stuff I do much more around being a mum to girls and stuff like that. And yeah, that's how I've kind of pivoted away from using more kind of photo based content sharing on other platforms to more video based content sharing on TikTok.
You also said sorry, Yaz.
No, carry on.
You said something interesting to me, Sophie, when I met once before, which was that, TikTok should be seen very differently to other platforms. It's not a social media platform. It's a bit more like YouTube, where you don't even have to post. You can just enjoy watching.
Absolutely, yeah. And obviously, I work for the platform, and so I try and use it a lot more than maybe other people would. But I'm a big TV consumption person, and I don't make any TV programs. And it's okay to be on TikTok and not to produce content for it. Like, that is completely okay. You can just consume and enjoy the content on TikTok, and we like massively encourage that. So if TikTok's not going to be somewhere that you want to produce content, then don't worry about that. Just come and enjoy the platform for the content that it does have on it, because I'm finding that it's a very different experience as well. Like, it's a sound on experience. So if I'm sneakily checking in meetings, apps and stuff, then I'm not checking TikTok, because the minute I turn it on, the sound is on. So for me, it's much more, it replaces much more the type of content that I would listen to with the sound on versus, sound off, which is why we see a lot of people using it in the afternoons and in the evenings, because that's their downtime. And then the other thing is that I think it's really worth just pointing out that other apps is about, you go on, and Yas touched on this, but they use what's called a social graph. So it's about, you see content from people that you're already like, or you're already following, or you're already friends with. And so it's a slightly more kind of closed experience. On TikTok, it's not about who you like or you follow. The content is served to you already, and then you have to train the algorithm to the kind of content you like. So as a mum, I get loads of recipes, and I get loads of parenting tips, and I get, loads of, Clean Talk is like my favorite. It's my favorite content series, because I'm like, oh my God, how did they get their dishwasher so clean? And how did they get their washing machine so sparkly? And I've got vinegar and baking soda in because I can't reach my shower head, and it's got lime scale. And now I'm like,
you're basically TikTok rock and roll, so
totally, yeah. On my shower head. But this is not content that I'm already liking and following. It's stuff that's been served to me, and so it's a very, very different experience. It's a bit like being on the channel, the EPG, the electronic program guide on your TV, where you scroll through and there's all the different content channels you can see, except instead of having to go through and choose what you're going to watch, it's kind of served to you. So it's much more in the kind of TV entertainment space than it is in the social media space.
Yeah, and I think also it's interesting to mention that if you do end up posting for personal accounts as well, this is also entertainment. It's so fun to just mess around with all the different effects, different filters, and you don't have to post your videos publicly. When you come to post, you can post things privately. So I think, there's two kind of elements of entertainment on TikTok as well there.
We create loads of TikTok videos in our house, but we never post them because my kids are in them, but we have so much fun creating them. It's an amazing app for video creation. It's brilliant.
Exactly. Next slide, please. On to the next one. So this is kind of what we were talking about just now. So looking at us as guaranteed entertainment. I think, to be honest, we've probably covered most of the rest of the slides now. But so 40% of 18 to 55-year-olds see us as guaranteed entertainment, which I think is so interesting. It makes sense to me that it's higher than Facebook and Instagram because they're more social platforms, but I think it's really interesting that this is higher than both YouTube and Netflix. And I think that's because of the way that you can share with your friends and you can have conversations around the content that you're consuming as well. So you're entertained while you're just consuming by yourself, but you're also creating conversation around the content that you're making or consuming as well. That was just something to flag there. And then, we just really love to put our community at the heart of this entertainment. So thinking about how we can bring brands and users into the narrative and really elevating them to be the faces of the entertainment. So for instance, you might not necessarily think that some of the charities that we work with are entertainers, but they get the opportunity to tell their story and to put their product or their cause in front of people in an entertaining manner, so that you might come across, say for instance, any of the brands that you guys are working on and view them in an entertaining light, rather than feeling like you're either being sold something or being educated on something. It's giving a new spin to these kind of brands, I guess. And then finally, to feel creative, we obviously need to feel really safe. So just wanted to stress here that the trust and safety of our community is really paramount to the success of TikTok as a brand. So we always make sure that we're really positive, inclusive, and we're TikTok's a really welcoming place. You'll notice that all of the content is really diverse, and I think this is something that really is a superpower of TikTok. You'll see types of content that you wouldn't necessarily look for yourself as well will be served to you, which I think is something really special that you don't necessarily find on other platforms. Like Soph just said, if you're on the TV, you'll scroll past things that you might actually be interested in because you didn't know that you were interested in them. So with TikTok, you're served much more diverse content that actually appeals to you. You just didn't know it before. I think that's everything from from me now. Yeah, so I can go through an app demo. I don't know.
I've got a couple of.
That's going to be the best thing to do. Yeah, go for it.
Two questions are in here. That one of them is, what tends to perform best from a fashion perspective? Is it a quick transition try-on hauls or more sustainably minded at-home upcycling hacks?
So both actually perform really well. We see, transitions are great because you just kind of get the like quick, I went from this to this, and people love like the effects of people using transitions. But sustainability is really popular and really indexes with our older audience. So I'd say if you've got a fashion and beauty channel, definitely try both and see what your audience likes. And I would imagine what's likely to happen is you'll have almost two separate audiences who will follow you, who will be engaged in both sides of things.
That's interesting. And that's a good question here. It's anonymous, but it's something we find at Glamour. In terms of brands using trending music by the TikTok function, are there any concerns with copyright issues?
So I would say that we have got a specific library for brands to use. So I'd say it's best to use the commercial library. There's like loads of trending sounds on there as well that brands can use. But to be safe, I think that's definitely the best option.
Got you. Thank you.
Shall I do a quick demo?
Yeah.
Okay, so this could be very telling because I'm about to show you my For You feed. So here we go. Can you see this? If I show you my phone like that, can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So when you open TikTok, you'll see here that you start getting served content straight away. So this is an advert actually. So this is something that a brand has paid for to be like the first shown video on TikTok. It's for Hilton. So they have used trending audio. They've actually worked with like some of the top creators as well. So it feels like really relevant to TikTok rather than just an advert that will have been repurposed from other platforms. And then when you scroll through, you'll see all of the different videos. So I don't follow any of these accounts. So they're just videos that TikTok thinks I'll be interested in.
What are they about? I'm just curious to know how your algorithm has worked.
Oh God. So this is about, what is this? I don't know why. This is someone using sandpaper to clean their tires.
I was going to say, you're also rock and roll TikToker.
Okay, so to be fair, my For You feed is a bit weird because I have to search for strange stuff that I'm working on campaign-wise. But say, for instance, I then wanted to use this girl's audio to make maybe like a reaction video. I'd click on the sound at the bottom here, and it will show me other people who have used her audio. So 4 people have already created videos using that. And then I could press use sound here. So by pressing that, I'd start shooting a video. So I'm here. I'd start shooting a video and it would automatically pull the sound onto this video. So when I start shooting, it will have her voice over the top of it. And then on the side here, this is where you add like effects and filters. And you can also set a timer. So if you want to film yourself, you can set the timer so that you don't have to be there to click on it yourself. And then what else have I got on the For You feed? I've got some more travel content here, but this is like a meme. So this girl's saying, what my boyfriend thinks I'm doing when he's away. So pacing around, being all stressed, and what she's actually doing, which is decorating her room for Halloween. So if you're a brand, you could do something like what my like colleagues think I'm actually doing at work versus what I'm actually doing at work, and one could be you working and the other one could be like you actually just using the products that you love that your brand makes. And then across the bottom here, you've got the next page is the discover page. So this is what I mentioned earlier, where we have all of the trending hashtags and sounds. So at the moment we've got this is Black Music, which is for Black History Month, which is showcasing some of the most talented Black musicians on TikTok. So if you click into this, it will give you a feed of all of the content aggregated under that hashtag. So you can like personalize your feed to be under the hashtags that you're interested in. And then down here, we've got like Good Mood Food, which is with Ainsley Harriott. So he onboarded and he's giving like tips on people's recipes. So when you click through that, people have used the duet feature to create videos with him. And that's a feature that you can access.
How do you use that again? So how do you use the duet feature?
So you find a video that you want to duet with. So say we picked this video, and then at the bottom, you click duet, and it will take you So you click onto here and there's an option that says duet, and it will take you into the shoot page, and it will put the video to one side, and then you can record. So when you hold down to start recording, it'll play the other video, so you're filming alongside the other person. So people will often use this to react to things. So say I wanted to film myself reacting to this artist, I would film myself, and people will say like, oh wow, this is amazing. And people use it as a way to share content within TikTok. If they think they've seen something that's like particularly impactful or impressive, they'll duet with it to then get it out to a wider audience.
Sorry, just one quick question from somebody, which was, as a brand, would you advise that is it okay for a brand to share other people's content on their feed, or do you think they should only create their own unique content?
No, we do see brands using like the duet feature and the stitch feature, and them performing really well. So I'd say that it shows like that you really understand the community. It shows authenticity to your brand. So we would definitely encourage brands to use these features that TikTok has to offer. And then just to shoot a video from the Discover page, you just press the big plus in the bottom. And someone mentioned earlier, how do you access effects? So effects are just here in the bottom corner. So if you tap on that, you'll see all of the effects there. But I think something really worth mentioning, what Sophie was talking about earlier, is uploading your video clips. So in the other bottom corner, you'll see your camera roll. So if you just tap into that, it will take you to all of your videos. So you could select like 30 videos and mash them together, and then they'll upload into a TikTok video. And something that's really cool is once you've uploaded them, if you click on sounds, you can see all of the, you can't really see anything, but you can see all of the playlists. But once you've selected a sound, you can make the sound sync to your videos, so you don't have to do any of the editing of the audio. The app will do it for you. So it will cut between, like it might make the drop land when you transition from one video to another video. So that's really helpful and saves a lot of time on editing. And then from the Discover page as well, you've also got your inbox. So you can see here all of your messages, your likes and comments on your video, and any videos that your friends or family might share with you. And then finally, you've got your profile, which is where you have all of your videos that you've posted. I'm showing you all my videos now. This is very embarrassing. But you've also got all of the videos that you've liked. So when you're going through the For You feed, by liking videos, not only are you training the algorithm on the type of content that you enjoy, you're also saving videos. So if you want to go back to anything later, you can go through all of your liked videos and you'll be able to find the videos that you find particularly engaging. You can also favorite, which is very similar. You can just save videos to your favorites. So what I do is I like videos that I might want to show other people again, but I'll favorite videos that I think I want to try and recreate myself. So if I see a creator doing something and I'm like, oh, I want to try that trend later, I'll save it to my favorite. So I know to go back and then try and replicate that myself. And then finally, on the padlock on the end are all your videos that you've created, but you've saved or posted privately. So anything that you don't want to go onto the For You feed and you don't want people to be able to see. And then you've got your settings and privacy. I mean, this literally just looks like a white screen, so I'll share it with you after. But this is where you can manage all of your privacy features, and you can also do things like upgrade to a business account so you can see all of your analytics as well. And you can manage things like push notifications, whether you want your notifications on, your digital well-being, so you can set screen time and things like that as well. So yeah, I think that's kind of it from me. Sophie, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add, especially on like a privacy front.
No, I would just say if you've got people here who've got 13-year-old children, plus we do say TikTok is for 13 plus, and we're quite strict about taking accounts off that we find to be under 13. But if you do have children, then there are some really strong family pairing mode settings that we'd recommend that you put on. You need to just have an account yourself, and then you pair it with your over 13, and you can control a lot of, you know, how long they're on the app for, their screen time. You can restrict the content they see and stuff like that. So we would encourage you to do that with your over 13s. Deborah, anything from you? I know we've got quite a few questions in the Q&A and the chat. So
I've gone through most of them, but there was one thing that I know every brand will be asking, which, there's more coming. I know there will be more questions, but I know one thing that every brand will be asking is, will we be able to drive traffic to our websites from TikTok soon?
Yes, in that you can already, from the sense that you can have a link in your bio. So brands can drive traffic through links in their bios. I can't say for now, like, whether we've got any new features that are going to be coming up that can drive traffic specifically to brands' websites from their videos, but we have launched our e-commerce offering. So we do have like shoppable opportunities for brands within TikTok as well. So we can send across some information about TikTok Shop and shopping in TikTok as well, which is possible for short video and also for live. So this is really exciting at the moment.
Yeah, it is really exciting. That's definitely the way things seem to be going. Another question here, I think you've kind of answered this, but I'll ask it anyway. When starting out as an individual posting on TikTok, would you recommend finding a niche immediately or letting it carve itself out over time? You kind of answered that, didn't you?
I think some of the best accounts that we've seen are people who literally just experiment with anything and everything, and they might find that, like, they thought they were going to be a beauty creator, but actually they posted 3 cooking videos and people just love the way that their cooking content is created, so they start engaging with that. So I definitely say just experiment to start with, find your niche through creating, and then go from there.
Do you think there does need to be one topic, or do multiple topics work for people as well?
Multiple topics definitely work for people, because your content will get served to people who are interested in that type of content. So if you had like food, fashion and beauty and travel, the chances are not one person is going to see all of those videos. They'll all be served to different pools of people, so they can all perform really well.
That's interesting. That sets you apart very much from other platforms, doesn't it? It's very different for people finding your content, basically. Great, thank you so much. That's it from me, unless anyone, there is one more question. Hang on. What should we have as our bio on TikTok? Say if you were a food company.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What should you have as your bio on TikTok if you were, for example, a food company or a food brand?
Some of the best bios that I see really lean into trends. So for instance, on TikTok, it's a thing that people say they're like the CEO of something they're really good at. So we've seen, for instance, I think it was it Twisted had their bio as CEO of feta pasta. So feta pasta was a trend, and they just said, like, they took a TikTok element and then they took a food TikTok trend and kind of merged them together. So something that shows that you're plugged into the trends on the app, but something that also shows that you are in the vertical that you want to be known for. But bios are important, but I think it's one of the lower priorities. Just something funny usually works.
Okay, thank you so much. That was incredibly useful. I swear I am literally closing this and going straight onto TikTok. I can't wait to talk.
Me too.
Well, we know you are, but I mean, it was really, really helpful. Thank you, and so insightful. We're getting messages saying the same. We will share all of this information with anybody watching, and also for all of your teams who weren't able to watch, because I know people can't always watch at lunchtime. This information will all be shared with you as well. Thank you so much for giving us your time. It was really, really brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.